We up that. How are you, MCM London? Thank you. We're here with Jamie Bamber. So, hey Jamie, how are you?
I am really well, thank you.
No, well, good. How's the con been for you so far?
It's been wonderful. It's been having done a show that came off the air 8 years ago, I'm always just blown away by meeting a whole new bunch of fans every single time that have only just seen Battlestar Galactica, and catching up with old friends as well that I haven't seen in a while. So yeah, and it's grown. This place is, I've just done the lap of the two rooms. It's incredible. There's many of you. There's
loads. Have you seen any Battlestar cosplays around that you've been well impressed with?
I have. Well, there's my friend there with the...
Yeah, hello. I was just scanning round because I said to him at the back, I said, oh, we've got Jamie Bamber coming up next. You going to be here for that? And he went, oh, we've got an old score to settle.
Yeah,
Like, oh.
yeah. I'm going to squash him.
That's it.
I'm going to squash you.
So you played Lee Apollo Adama in Battlestar Galactica. For me, who's a Battlestar virgin, I'm very much into my Star Trek, Star Wars, like I've sold to you. What is Battlestar Galactica about for me, and for people at home that probably want something new to watch and go back to? So what is Battlestar Galactica all about?
It is the better creation story than Adam and Eve. It is. It's where we come from, and it's about the human race, and it's about survival. It's about meaning. It's about fighting for your life in space. It's about anything you want it to be about.
Yeah.
And it's grown up. It's current, even though we made it a long time ago, and I think it'll be current in 50 years. I think for television, it was ahead of its time in terms of the special effects and stuff like that, which have really stood up.
Good.
So I would encourage you to give it a go. If you like all those things, then I see no reason why we wouldn't be a good fit for you.
I know, it sounds a bit like Star Trek in a sense, anyway, you know.
Yeah, it's less serialized than Star Trek. It's more of an epic journey, and it definitely borrows from Star Wars and Star Trek to some degree, but it's a little purer human element of what it is to be in space. We try to make it look like a documentary, and it's hard hitting, and I'm very, very proud of it, and I won't sell it too hard because I don't think I need to.
No, cool. It's got its fan base alone, you know. It's all it is. So can you tell us a bit more about your character, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, my character is he's the prodigal son. He's the one who doesn't get along with the guy that everyone loves, and that's his dad. And the end of the world happens, and the one person he can't get away from is the one person he has to spend the rest of his life dealing with, and that's his dad. So at the nucleus of it, it's a family drama, like all the great dramas. Like Star Wars is a family drama. Yeah. They're all family dramas, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
And we set them in different places, and we, add some high stakes, and we make the family extremely pivotal in terms of the survival of the human race, this is really what this is about. It's about a bunch of people desperate to survive against all the odds. They happen to be the nucleus happens to be a family situation, but they're much more than that because they are the head of the military and the head of the president is arguably the mother figure in this thing, and the son is trying to find his role in life, and that's really what I play, is the everyman son who's just trying to forge his own future when his race is arguably doomed.
Yeah, cool. So how do you think your character developed over the seasons? Did he go from strength? Did he go from strength to strength? Or
No. He's his own worst enemy. He's slightly rigid in his principles, and he falls foul of authority. He becomes authority. He changes his mind about what he wants to do. He puts on a huge amount of weight at one point. He gets married, sort of gets unmarried, and then he's in all sorts of trouble all the time. Cool. Otherwise it'd be boring to play and boring to watch. But no, he was a great character, and I grew up with him. And then of course I was inheriting a character that had already been played by Richard Hatch as well, and then working with the actual Richard Hatch, who played my character in the 70s. Yeah. In the 70s version, which was kind of fun too.
Good, cool. So what was your kind of favourite story arc while playing Lee?
There were so many. I mean, I love the personal relationships, the relationship with the dad, coming close at odds. He threw me in prison at one point. The relationship with my would-be lover, partner, life soulmate, who just, we can't get it together. That was great fun to play. And then the relationship with Mary McDonnell's character, the president, who he idolizes and thinks of as the alternative to his dad's way. And then they end up, lo and behold, becoming one and the same, and he has to differentiate himself from her too. So it's all about the relationships, really, in the show.
I mean, you starred in Battlestar Galactica, what we just spoke about. Are you a sci-fi fan in general?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm not obsessive about one genre over another, but when good sci-fi presents itself, I find myself loving it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the next question I was going to ask you, like, what is your favourite? Star Trek, Star Wars, Red Dwarf, or Battlestar? If you had to pick one.
It would be Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I was a Star Wars kid, very much.
Same, I love Star Wars.
I mean, one that wasn't Battlestar Galactica, obviously. I would honestly do think our show stands up to all of those and maybe even edges them. But as someone who was involved in that, I would pick Star Wars in terms of it was my childhood.
Yeah.
I still, that mythology is ingrained in my growing up experience, and taking my kids to see the new films is just wonderful fun. Just you share it with them. Yeah.
Did they enjoy the new film? You enjoy the new film?
I loved it. It was the old film, just slightly bigger Death Star and slightly different characters. But no, I really loved it. I was grinning from ear to ear. Yeah.
You're looking forward to Rogue One, I guess, in December as well. Yeah, it'll be absolutely brilliant.
I'll be checking that out. Yeah.
Cool. So you played Matt Devlin in Law and Order UK.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about Matt, his character and his development?
Matt is someone that he loves what he does. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He finds it difficult to separate justice from the job. So he's a copper that really wants to make a difference.
Yeah.
He's a bit too impetuous. He's someone that needs to. It needs the yin and the yang to be together, and the Bradley Walsh character that I play with is very much the more experienced shades of grey kind of worldview of right and wrong, and Matt's still caught in the black and white of it all a bit. But and there's one episode where you find a bit more about Matt's past, and he's had a difficult upbringing, and he's had some moments where he's had to confront the darker sides of life, and he's a bit judgmental as a result, I think.
So what did you find interesting about playing Matt? What was the most interesting thing you found out about the character as you went through playing him?
Again, I view the character as very much part of a double act, and it was all about bouncing off Brad, and the character defined himself by the moments of differences and the moments where they come together and they sort of understand each other implicitly and love each other in terms of who they each are, but they occupy different energies within every scene. So it was really about that was the fuel to the show for me. That's what I enjoyed doing, was bouncing off Bradley.
Cool. So did you have a favourite story arc in that series? Was there something that you really found interesting and you grabbed hold of?
Yeah, Law and Order is not Battlestar Galactica. You don't really go home with the the protagonists.
Yeah.
So any opportunity where you do get to sort of open the window on their lives and their background, and there was one particular episode which was all about Matt's childhood, and there was an abuse element and it was pretty dark, but it was a bit more rewarding to play and to sort of find your detective, who's normally the narrative of narrator of someone else's story, to find himself involved in the main plot of the episode. I can't remember what episode it was actually, because it was a long time ago, but that was my favourite one to do.
Cool. I mean, is there anything you can tell us about Matt that was kind of like interesting that didn't come to fruition in Law and Order, or is it kind of just a case that everything was there on screen?
No, there's almost nothing on screen with Law and Order, because, as I say, it's just them in their work time. So. It would have been good to see Matt on a night out. It would have been good to see Matt and see him, at a football match or whatever. But we never did. So I didn't do much character exploration in those areas as a result.
No worries. I mean, we're going to go on to some questions on Twitter. I'll put up on Twitter that if there was any questions for you, then to please get in contact with me. Rebecca E. Cassidy, which is at Angel47 Disney, gave us two questions which I thought were really good. So the first one is, would you be willing to do a voiced character in a Disney Pixar film?
Oh, I'd love to. Are you kidding me? Yeah, definitely. I admire those they're something that in our generation has really transformed the way animation works, the way children's stories are told. They're so sophisticated and fun, and I think the challenge would be enormous. And of course I would. Absolutely amazing.
So the other one is, what role do you most miss? Archie Kennedy, Apollo, or Matt Devlin?
Apollo, easy. I mean, it's the most without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. The most complex of the three, ever changing. Writers were always pushing him into uncomfortable areas. There was never a sense in which, oh yeah, he got him, he's settled, he's got his shtick every episode. None of that. So yeah, hands down. Cool. So I'm going to go on to Fearless, which is out in 2017. You're currently doing bits with that at the moment, are you? Or have you finished? Filming it right now, Filming it right now. So can you tell us a bit about Fearless? Fearless is a really, really intelligently written and plotted 6 hours about a character played by Helen McCrory, who is a lawyer who defends the people that fall the wrong side of the law or the government in this country. Her character was a Greenham Common baby, and she exists to fight for the underdog who society has decided is the enemy of the state. And she's investigating what she believes to be a wrongful conviction, and it turns into a whole string of cover-ups, and it becomes quite political, quite social, quite. It's a story that works on many levels, and I'm a huge fan of her work, especially her theatre work, and for me it's a real buzz. And Michael Gambon is also in it, who's obviously a legend to every actor, and so it's a real treat to work with him, and director Pete Travis, who's done loads of good stuff. So yeah, I'm excited about it. It's big and new, and we'll see what happens. Do you know what part of 2017 that's coming out? I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea. Okay, cool. So we're going to go to the audience after one more question. Someone from behind the scenes has basically gave me a little bit of a leash, should I say, and said, do you remember the BBC series Outcasts? Do I? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I was in it. You were killed off in the first episode, but did you read any of the other scripts that come through for it? No, no, I didn't. I was doing Law and Order at the time, and I was just finishing, I think. Yeah, I was. And I was given the script, and actually they wanted me to play a different character that was going to be in the whole thing. But for me, it felt too soon after Battlestar to embark on something similar, although I loved it. I loved the stories. I loved what they were trying to do. But I didn't really want to just go straight back into something like that. So I found this other role in the first episode that I really liked. This character who ends up... did he die? I can't remember. Anyway, he's only in one episode. Yeah. But I loved it. Filmed in South Africa. I'd never been to South Africa before. Filmed in Cape Town. Wonderful cast. Amazing cast. Yeah. I had a great time. Unfortunately, the show, I don't think, sort of had a big impact on BBC One, but it was a thrill, and I don't regret doing it at all. I wish it had been a success. That's it. So we're going to go to the audience for the questions now. So if you could put your hand up, guys, I'm going to come straight out to you. Straight up. What was that? It was an owl. There you go.
Yeah, how do you feel about putting us classic Cylons out of work with CG?
You know what? That is travesty, isn't it? You must. They were personally having. I didn't know you then. I'm a union man. I believe in jobs for actors, so I would have fought your corner. And they were much harder to kill because they were twice your height, and they were really fast. Cool. And I'm not saying that you're not, but they were quick. I thought they looked good on screen, but yes, it was a shame that we couldn't get more jobs for you and your friends. Any more actually? We'll have two more. We'll go over this guy here. If I can slide in here, sorry. If you'd like to stand up, you
do you meet up with the cast from Battlestar often? When was the last time?
The honest answer is all the time. But I've thrown a curveball or thrown a spanner in the works because I moved to France last year, so I don't see them as much as I used to. But Edward James Olmos and James Callis live in Encino, which is a neighborhood in LA, which wasn't too far from where I lived, and we'd see them all the time. I mean, all the time. Weekends, it didn't matter. Special occasions weren't required. I've stayed with Eddie. I've stayed with James. Since I've moved away from LA. I've stayed with the Truccos. Michael Trucco, who played Anders. Trisha Helfer all the time. KTC from time to time. Saw Grace last in Dragon Con a couple of years ago. She's in Hawaii a lot, obviously. But yeah, we're all super close. We're all still, friends. More than, it's funny to think of them in the Battlestar context, actually, because we're just friends now. So yeah, very, very. The director Michael Reimer, stayed with him in Australia. He stayed at my house. My mum went to his 50th birthday in Italy. Well, I didn't go, but she went. So yeah, Ron Moore I haven't seen for a while, but if I did, we'd be, hugging and all the stuff.
Nice. So one more. We've got one more. So if you'd like to stand up, sir.
Hi. Obviously, as you alluded to earlier, with Battlestar Galactica being quite a serious series, as it went on, it obviously tackled quite a range of issues: humanitarian, sort of religion, politics, where the military fits into that. Did you ever find that your position on those sorts of issues were kind of opposed to Apollo's position, and how difficult was that for you as an actor?
Yeah, that was deliberately the point of the show, I think, was to make people inhabit headspace that was not theirs. We had the most sympathetic characters blowing themselves up in public places. It doesn't get more sort of diametrically opposed to the way we feel about society today, but that the whole point, I think, of stories is that you have to live a life that isn't your own and confront opinions and justify them that aren't your own. But having said that, I think the show basically, Mary was passionate about playing a female president, which we're about to get, finally. She invested all of her heart. Even when she felt the president was doing things that she could not justify, she had to justify them, and she would. And in a way that was, if you even questioned it off the set, she would come for you. So, and my whole thing defending the Baltar, it's not what I wanted to be doing, but you had to find an argument, and by the end of it, I did. You have to invest in it, and you do. And you come out changed for it, out the other side. And I think that was really why our show was so powerful. Is in America at that time, and America is very divided at the moment. We had fans from both sides of the political spectrum saying this show is making them, reinforcing some of their beliefs, but also challenging their beliefs in a way that they found acceptable, that you wouldn't be able to do if you made it about Democrat versus Republican versus going to Iraq versus not. Put it in space. Everyone can find an opinion that they are challenged by, and one that reinforces their own, and they all come out a bit wiser for it, I find. And that's what drama's for. That's why we have it. So we can be changed a bit in terms of our empathy more than anything else.
Thank you for that question. Really good answer. Really good. So
Thanks, Tom.
That's it for us, I'm afraid, Jamie. For you guys at home, thank you. Thank you. For everyone at home, please remember to like and subscribe to this stream. There's going to be more there's going to be one more after this, and then we've got more tomorrow. So give us a thumbs up, press that subscribe button. Again, round of applause for Jamie Bamber, everyone. Thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon.